Good morning. This is the presentation of the Lab2 of Netcom. I'm Dimension. The matrix number is A19 EC0207, and my section of Netcom is 06, and the code for Netcom of this course is SCCR1213. And now I'm going to start the presentation for the first questions. As you can see that it's getting from the PDF. Okay, say that we're going to start get the IP address to the catching of the data. So let's start now. So we close all the Chrome. So we get ready so we are going to close this. Get ready the Wi-Fi. We start catching it. Catching the HTTP. Enter. So we can see the HTTP only file that capture. And then we're going to go to the website. It's called open. This website, open the links. Right, as you can see, already log finished successfully, and then I'm going to answer the first questions. Is your browser running HTTP version 1.0 or 1.1? Okay, I'm going to answer on this question by looking at this. Hypertext transform. Okay. My computer running a HTTP version 1.1. As you can see from here is 1.1, and then as you can see from the server is reply with a HTTP 1.1, so it also run on the version of HTTP of 1.1. For the second question, what language does your server indicate that it can accept to the server? We can see from the get message from my computer, which is accept language English United States Standard. So we answer the second question, and the third one is what is the IP address of your computer or the server. Okay, as we can see, the destination of the first get is to the server. So the server destination is 128.119.245.12. This is the server IP address, and you can see from the when we receive it, this is the address of our computer. So the address of my computer is 192.168.1.10. So for the fourth question, what is the status code returned from the server to my browser? So the server code is 200, which is indicate a good request. And the fifth question, when was the HTML that I retrieved last modified at the server? We can see from the HTTP message from the server that give us, and you got mentioned at here last modified Tuesdays, December 1, and at the time of 6:31:01 GMT time. And then on the sixth question, how many bytes of content are being returned to my browser? So how many bytes you can mention here? The content length is 128, so it's around like 128 bytes. And by inspecting the raw data in the packet content window, what do you see any header? Do you see any header within the data that are not displayed in the packet listing window? If so, name one. So the raw data is here. So from the raw data, I didn't see any information that didn't include in the packet listing window, which is the HTTP 1.1 is included, 200 is included, the date, the server information, the last modified, the asset range, always available inside the packet listing window. Start recording. And on the second question, which is the get HTTP conditional get, is testing on the cache data of the computer. So we're going to start to cache the file transmit from this desktop to the server or server to this desktop, and then we're going to clear the browsing data which is cached inside in this laptop. Clear all, and then we open this website. So it should be get a file already inside my Wireshark, and then we refresh it, and then you will request again. And this time, I'm going to answer the question. Inspect the content of the first HTTP GET request from your browser to the server. Do you see see an if modified since in line of in the HTTP GET. Okay, so we're gonna inspect my HTTP GET. First, let me stop the GET. Okay, in my first request file, we cannot see any if modified since. So the answer for first question is no. And for the second question is inspect the content of the server response. Did the server explicitly return the content of file? How can you tell? So on the second response from the server is 200 okay. We can answer that the server give us response in file format, such as we can see the content length is 371 byte. So we can tell from this information that server do give us something. And then for the third question is now inspect the content of the second HTTP GET request from your browser to the server. Do you see an if modified? And if so, what information follow the if modified since header? So for the second GET request from my browser, we can see that the if modified since is contained in this line. So the if modified since does exist in the second GET request. And the information followed by the if modified since is Tuesday, December 1st, 2020 on 6:39:02 GMT time. And for the fourth question is, what is the HTTP status code and phrase returned from the server in response to this second HTTP GET? Did the server explicitly return the content of the file? Explain. Okay, I'm going to explain this, that the server returned a message of 304, which means it's not modified. And we can tell that the server is not giving us something, not even some file, because they don't have a content length exist in this HTTP response, different with the first HTTP response that have content length in 371 bytes. So for the fourth question, the server does not give us any file. For the third question, which is retrieving the long document that tests the ability of the server of the website to split the file into multiple TCP segments. So following the instruction which calls to clear the cache first, so we're clearing now, and then we open before we opening, we start cache a file, and then we go to HTTP. Yes, correct. And then we open the links. Yes, the file is successfully loaded, and you can see we get the items. Okay, I don't know why we got an extra one, but I think we won't need the second one. We just need a first, and we won't need a third and fourth. We just need a first and second one. Yes. Alright, so as we can see from the first question is, how many HTTP GET requests did my browser send, and which packet number in the trace containing the GET message for build or write? So my browser only sent one GET request to the server, and the trace number is 44. And for the second question is, which packet number in the trace content in the status code and phrase associated with respond to the HTTP GET request? The packet number in this case is 57 that respond to the GET request. And what is the status code and phrase in the response is 200, which is a good request. And for the fourth question is, how many data containing TCP segments were needed to carry the single HTTP response and the text build of write? And for this answer is, if you can see from here, like I mentioned that from the response from the server, it got mentioned that 4 assembled TCP segments. So it is 4 TCP segments that needed to carry the single HTTP response. Start recording. And for the fourth question, the document with ambient object, which is test on the ability of our browser to send requests to the server and then get the location of the ambient object, such as JPG or PNG, and then after we get the address, then we request on the server respective respective server. And then following the instruction, we clear the cache. I already clear that, and then I already open the link in here, and then we can see from here that I already cached the data. So let me stop it first. You can see I already cached the data. And then for the question 16 and 17, that how many HTTP GET requests did my browser send, and to which internet access were these GET requests sent? So my browser sent 3 GET requests to the server, and then the respective internet address is 128.119.245.12 is the first server address, and the second and third is still same 128.119.245.12, and the one is also sent. This might be because that sorry, it's here. Yeah, it's here. This might be because the image is saved on the same server. And then 17, can you tell whether your browser download the 2 images serially or they download the 2 websites in parallel? I think this means that 2 images in parallel. Explain. So in my opinion, I think that the image was downloaded in serially because due to this the GET request message for the HTTP, and this a response, and this a request for the image, and this response, the request for image response. So you can see that the first image is requested and received, and then the second image is requested and then received. So this process is done serially because the process is continued after the first image is received, and then the second image is then requested. If it's a parallel process, then both image is requested on the same time and received in the same time. So I think that this process is a serial process. Start recording, and then is it started? Yes. Okay. I will cache the data first, and for the fifth, which is the last process which has HTTP authentication, is to authorize my access to the web page. And same, I will clear the cache first, and then I will open the links in new tabs. So it got request for the username and the password. So just copy and paste works. Alternate copy and the paste and the network. Copy and then paste, and then we go to sign successfully and sign in, and then we're going to answer the question. So by answering the question is 18, what is the server response in response to the initial HTTP GET message from my browser? So we can see that the server response, sorry, I stopped this first. The server response the message with 401, which means unauthorized access. Sorry for that. Unauthorized access. Then it won't allow me to get a web page. And then for the second question, when my browser send the HTTP GET message for the second time, what the new field is included in the HTTP GET message? So for the second time that my browser request for the web page, and it got include the authorizations, which mean the basic, there got numbers there. This field is meaning that I get the authorization to access the browser. So the browser will identify the authorization. You know that I am authorized to access this, and then you will respond 200 good requests and then give me the web page. So this is the answer for the last questions. Thank you. And now I'm going to give my reflection on the Lab2. It is the last part of the video. First, we can see that the basic HTTP GET and response interaction. And from the question, okay, it really increased my knowledge on how the HTTP request, the message inside, like the version, the date modified, the date last modified, and it increased my knowledge on looking at the raw data and know how many bytes of content is being written to my browser from the server. And looking on the second conditional GET request, it increased my knowledge about the cache on my computer. So each time to identify the cache saved in my computer, I have to clear it, open the browser, and then refresh it. So the browser is safe on inside my computer. For further, if I refresh it, it doesn't need to request from the server again, so it will be a very long time and very troublesome process to request the same file that I didn't modify. And then for the third question is retrieving long document. Okay, from this experience, from this lab of this section, I know that if the file is too large, the file will be split into multiple TCP segments and be sent in multiple times. Like in this case, it's 4 TCP segments, so it will be sent in 4 segments and then it combined in my browser here. And then for the fourth question is HTML document with ambient objects. I know that the image is saved. The image from the web page is not same as the request of the HTTP of HTML. So we need to get the address of the image and then request from the respective server. And then for the last is HTTP authentication. This is a very crucial process in authentication that we need to authorize ourselves, give the correct username and password, and then authorize, and then we will get the information of the web page from the browser. So this lab exercise is all about the Wireshark, gain know about how to the HTTP get response, conditional get, and then the authentication, the long document, the ambient object. So I think this is a quite good lab actually. So this is my reflection on this lab. Thank you.